Hey everyone, me Kevin here. It's later on Thursday, and we've got a lot of updates regarding the Cybertruck bombing, who the Cybertruck bomber was, what his wife said on Facebook about Donald Trump 9 years ago. Spoiler alert, it's not good. We've got the identity of the individual who died in the Cybertruck, what happened. We've got details around a lot of these two events, plus a shooting in Montenegro. I'll give you some details on this, a shooting outside of a nightclub in Queens, and some weird correlations to what's going on in Germany. There is a lot to talk about here, and let's just get into it. First things first, I have to say, the fact that the Trump Hotel had basically no damage to the front of the Trump Hotel from this Cybertruck explosion was remarkable. I mean, if you look at what this Cybertruck was loaded up with, you have firework mortars, camping fuel, and basically what Elon Musk says happened is the Cybertruck essentially contained the explosion. So as you can see, none of the stainless steel here while it's heated, probably from fire coming up this way, none of the stainless actually budged. So really what you had is the stainless side of the vehicle protected the Trump Hotel to where the blast effect didn't even damage a single pane of glass over here. This is crazy to see somebody basically blow up a car right in front of all these glass windows and not a single pane of glass even gets damaged. Kind of remarkable. But here's just a little bit more footage of what was inside of the vehicle. Elon Musk suggests that because of the way the Cybertruck is designed, the blast here basically went up through the lid, the tonneau cover, and into the cabin, so through the glass of the actual vehicle. This is a smothering tarp, by the way, that's used to kind of extinguish electric vehicle battery fires when they occur. But anyway, we now know the identity of the perpetrator. It was not a valet driver. It was actually the perpetrator themselves who killed themselves. And Matt Livelsberger is the name, the identity of the individual. And what's kind of bizarre is that his wife or girlfriend at the time or whatever posted this on Facebook about Donald Trump 9 years ago. I follow Donald Trump's Twitter just to get my morning motivation to kill someone. Or maybe just motivation to lift heavy. Right. Because when I talk about motivation, I refer to, I'm either motivated to work hard or kill someone. This is weird. This is not mentally stable. This is not normal. We shouldn't normalize this kind of stuff. And I think you're going to find there's a lot of a link about mental instability when we talk about the individuals involved in these disasters. And it just sort of makes me question what's going on with mental health care in America. I mean, when I ran for governor in California, I argued that why do we have PE in schools, physical education, but no ME in schools, mental education? Anyway, here's just an example from 9 years ago of what the perpetrator sounds like. Again, this is Matt Livelsberger. Apparently, also an Army veteran, spent time at Fort Bragg, which is also where the perpetrator of the Bourbon St massacre, 14 people died in that massacre yesterday. That was actually down from the up from original 10 deaths, which was then revised to 15, now adjusted back to 14, so looks like one more person survived than expected, which is great news. Still terrible that 14 people died. But anyway, that individual, the Bourbon St massacre perpetrator, also was in the Army at Fort Bragg. Now, it's unclear if their assignments overlapped. Both of them apparently deployed to Afghanistan at some point. But here's just an example of this person and his girlfriend, and you can see their personalities a bit.
Posted up, midnight red-eye flight. Sarah Beans. No Matty B.
Trying not to be weird.
Not to be weird.
Not allowed to be weird and embarrass him. They can't do that.
We're judging people in front of the walking thing where you can choose.
By the way, a little weird there, her line of trying not to embarrass him and then sort of the big eyes open. It's almost like they just had an argument.
To walk, you can choose to stand still. You can choose to
pick
walk.
a side, people. Pick a side.
You can walk aside it if you want some exercise and just be devoid of technology if you choose. Post it up.
And that clip ends with the line, be devoid of technology. That's a common theme that we hear from people with potential mental illnesses where all of a sudden then they snap. In fact, remember the assassin who assassinated the United Healthcare CEO, Luigi? Remember when we went through his posts and what did we hear? He was super anti what technology is doing to people's mental health. These people are using sort of their opinions and their mental health problems and then expressing them in a certain way to send a message. Luigi's trying to send a message against healthcare. This individual and his wife are clearly trying to send a message against Donald Trump and the potential political influence that Elon Musk has. So this individual was, again, here's another X post. He was in the military, in the army, again, served at Fort Bragg. This is glory to Ukraine, I believe, if I have the identification of this correct. He also served in a special forces group in the Green Beret, which is a pretty elite group. Kind of sad to see this, but in his, I think it's his LinkedIn bio, you'll actually see that he has a remote autonomous systems and SUAS note up here. These are basically unmanned small aerial aircraft systems. And what I found in my time learning to be a pilot in Vegas, which is close to Area 51, a lot of the flight trainers out there work with people who work in the unmanned aerial vehicle units at Area 51, and they argue that a lot of them have mental health problems. This is all, rumor mill, coming from he said, she said, right? So obviously I can't guarantee any of this. I want to disclaim that as I'm not saying that's a fact that everybody's got a mental problem in the military there. But, look at this person's bio. U.S. Army, 19 years, spent the last 3 months in remote and autonomous systems, and then does this. That's scary. It's really it's like more like 2 months here. But anyway, I do think there could potentially be a linkage between what's happening in mental health in technology, not just in, frankly, what we have going on with social media and the negative side effects of social media and how those affect children or younger people, both of these people under 45 years old, but also what unmanned combat really does for people's mental health, for people serving in those sort of roles, but also, frankly, just what war does in general is also pretty mentally damaging. Ask anybody from Vietnam, you're going to have problems after war. War's just bad. So all of these things just sort of contribute to mental health problems. And makes you wonder, why do we not have better solutions for these mental health crises that we have in the world? Consider just the correlation to what happened in Germany, and I'm going to go back to some more of these details. But Germany suffered a Christmas attack on December 20th that killed 5 and injured as many as 200. This was when a car rammed a Christmas market. You could actually probably pull up some pictures of it in Magdeburg. I actually don't know how to pronounce that city name. Even though I could speak German, I don't know how to pronounce that city name. But anyway, when I get so saddened to hear about these sort of Christmas attacks, because to me, as somebody who was born in Germany, I've always looked forward to going to Christmas markets, and I've really enjoyed them a lot. But it's so sad to hear that people can still today manage to get vehicles into populated pedestrian areas and then run people over. Anyway, the suspect that was arrested was a Saudi Arabian individual in Germany, and this all relates to mental health. I don't want you to think I'm on such a big tangent here, but he was a Saudi-born doctor who lived in Germany since 2006. He was granted refugee status in 2016, and this individual, I'm going to mess this up, Talib al-Abdul Mohsen, the suspect, you would think it has really pro-Muslim views and pro-Islam views. Muslim is a follower of Islam, so let's just be clear. We know the difference here. But anyway, the opposite apparently was true. At least what we're being told is that he actually voiced anti-Islamic views and sympathized with Germans who argued that the German government was letting too many Muslim refugees into the country, messing up German culture. But that's what native Germans say, and he is a refugee. And so this is where everybody's like, man, how do you reconcile all of this? Because initially people hear this person's name and they're like, oh, that's it. This is why we should have no refugees. But he's actually the type of refugee or I shouldn't say type of refugee, but he is apparently a refugee who is like, yeah, no, we shouldn't let this many people in. And it's like, man, but you were let in through the refugee program. Anyway, so he got in 2006, well before sort of the COVID refugee era. He earned his refugee status in 2016. But what's different is we already knew that he was on the radar for mental health problems. And this is what's really embarrassing, because constantly it seems like our government is letting us down, right? Our government let us down in New Orleans because they didn't have proper barriers in place because they were quote unquote upgrading them, which is like dumb, but okay. Then this individual had been known for mental health issues. He'd been contacted by the police in September 2023, in October 2024. He regularly made insults and threats of violence, but apparently nobody ever did anything because he was never actually violent. He was just sort of like a keyboard bully. Well, then all of a sudden he became violent. You know, this is really similar to kind of what you see, I feel like, with the Bourbon Street attack, where you have somebody who seems normal, but clearly they have some kind of mental health illness that goes untreated. And, you know, then all of a sudden they kill 14 people, injure many more. They get found with an AR, a Glock. They start shooting cops. They get found with 3 phones, camo, 2 IEDs. Crazy. Now, a lot of people are trying to link all of these together. So far, from me looking in from the outside, the only link that I see between all of this that's concrete is that all these people have mental health problems. Matt Livelsberg, probably Sarah, his wife. I mean, based on those posts, some mental health problems going on here. Obviously, Jabbar for the New Orleans crash, and then the other guy, Talib, in Germany. These are all mental health problems. And Luigi clearly has expressed a lot of mental health concerns as well, though a lot of people see Luigi as more of a hero because he's targeting a very broken industry, rightfully so. The health insurance industry is absolutely broken. It's not like he randomly killed totally random strangers. He specifically targeted a CEO. Now, I'm not saying that CEO is solely responsible for how broken the entire healthcare system is. So I'm not trying to at all justify any kind of killing here, okay? That person is still a father of children and a husband, and now they're dead. Point is, there are differences, there's similarities. The overarching similarity is this: we have a mental health crisis in the country, and there are a lot of references to how technology or social media or drone warfare affect people's mental health and make things even worse. Anyway, what else do we have here? We do know that it looks like, we do know this. We know that Matt and his wife were Democrats. They said that they were happy to be registered Democrats. There is some talk that Jabbar may have donated to Democratic campaigns. And so both of these could potentially be seen as a response to Trumpian enthusiasm, Trump's victory, whatever. The Islamic State flag was indeed recovered from Jabbar's truck, also rented on Turo. Remember, there are similarities, like Turo, Fort Bragg, Afghanistan, age. Those are similarities, but I don't think they're enough to say that they're definitely linked. Maybe they are. I know there are a lot of people thinking that these are definitely linked, but I haven't seen enough yet to say they're definitely linked. There are definitely similarities. Mental health is the biggest one I see. But anyway, in 2016, Matt's wife posted comments like "Stop bigotry." She would post comments depicting Trump as a cartoon. We saw, let's see, what else? Oh, the Islamic State flag was recovered from the New Orleans attack. We mentioned that yesterday, but it's worth noting that the Islamic State has regularly sponsored terrorism against the West, and there are actually Muslim communities that obviously condemn this sort of violence. But what's interesting is the individual facility that Jabbar ended up attending. They sent a message out, an email out. It was sort of like an urgent email that they sent to their, I don't know what you call them, mosque goers, I guess. And what they sent out was a message to not cooperate with any FBI or law enforcement requests. Take a look at this. This is from OSNIT Defender. The Houston area mosque attended by Jabbar, the ISIS-affiliated terrorist, because of the flag, who carried out yesterday's terrorist attack, has instructed its members not to respond to any inquiries by the media, and if approached by the FBI, refer them to the Council on American Islamic Relations, pronounced CARE, or the Islamic Society of the Greater Houston area. Here's a copy of that letter. So, unfortunately, all that does is sort of reiterate, I hate to say it, but some anti-Muslim hate. I don't condone that. But, you know, when you have the mosque that an individual went to who just committed a terrorist attack, killing 14 and injuring dozens of others, saying, hey, by the way, members, this is terrible, but nobody talked to the cops. It's just weird, okay? It's just weird. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that's fake news or whatever. Speaking of fake news, May Musk is pretty upset because of the headlines that are used to describe the attack by the mainstream media on or about the Cybertruck explosion. Rather than calling it a bombing, a lot of the mainstream media simply referred to it as, well, here you go. Tesla Cybertruck catches fire. Tesla Cybertruck reportedly catches fire. One day after Cybertruck explodes. One dead after Tesla Cybertruck explodes. And she's basically retweeting and arguing that many are mistakenly implying that the Cybertruck just blew up. In fairness, I personally think it should just be called a Cybertruck bombing. I think that would be a very straight way to put it. Anyway, okay, this is just in. This is quite interesting. So not only was Matt found with his military identification, but Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department is now reporting that Matt had a gunshot wound to the head before the blast. I don't know how they figured that out, that it was before. The guns that he had in his truck were lawfully purchased by him. You could actually see here are some leftover pieces of the weapons that he had. Oof, now that looks very good. And then there's also an identification card of him from the U.S. military that's badly charred. I want to make sure there's no personal identifying information on it. It says pay grade E8 for those of you who are familiar with the military pay grades. And let's take a look. Here's the cropped version of that card. Uniform services card. It's just sad. It's really, really sad. E8 pay grade Army. Let's take a look at that. That would be monthly, yearly. Here we go. 62.5 to 89.2. 62K to 89K. Okay. And they have now mapped out his journey as well. Take a look at this. This is from the, I believe it was Colorado Springs is where he lived. But maybe he rented the truck in Denver and drove it all the way to Vegas. Kingman! No way! Stopped at Kingman! I did a lot of flight training there. Kingman Cafe. Shout out to the Kingman Cafe. It's great. Jeez, man. This is just, it's just so terrible. And more updates keep coming out. So it's like as soon as you post a video, it's like there are more updates. But I'm trying to give you all of the latest here beyond what I've already put together. Bourbon Street has officially reopened. FBI says it's just a coincidence and that there's no link between the two. But of course, a lot of people on social media are freaking out saying, come on, man, both of these people used guns, same day. You know, it's possible that one inspired the other, right? So it's possible that Jabbar's attack inspired, like, actually, like, pulling the trigger, so to speak, on the bombing at the Trump Hotel. Obviously, the guy would have already been on the way, so it was likely going to happen anyway. But yeah, I mean, given that that was already on its way, the timing is pretty interesting. Yeah. Well, there you have it. So, crazy, crazy, crazy news. I want to just see if there's anything else that we need to cover. I think that's it. Keep in mind, if you want to join me in my Market Open live streams, we're doing those for course members now over at meetkevin.com. You can join the Trumponomics course, best course I've got right now. Oh, in addition to this, yesterday, there were a few other things yesterday. I totally almost forgot about this. Forgot to talk about the Montenegro attack. In Montenegro, in a 17-person town in Montenegro, you had 12 people shot and killed. This may have been because of a dispute between a restaurant owner and a patron. Not saying that it's, justifiable, but it is different from terrorism. But it may have expanded to terrorism, given that the owner and the patron apparently had a brawl, or there's something going on here. And then the patron came back and shot, I guess after the brawl, left. He's 45 years old, got a gun, returned to the site of the brawl, began shooting, shot 4 people at the bar, including 2 of the owner's children and the owner, 4 more people at another location, and then 2 children at a third site before shooting himself. That was just yesterday in Montenegro. And then 10 people were shot outside of a nightclub in Queens yesterday as, quote, multiple gunmen opened fire outside of the Queens Mazura nightclub. All of them are expected to survive, and this is considered, quote, gang-related. Now, in this place, shootings have happened before, so this is also not necessarily, terrorism-related. I think they're just all societally related. Just shows us we have a mental health problem and a societal problem. It's just a mess. It's just a mess, and it's sad. Anyway, consider subscribing to the channel for more updates. FBI found no ideology leading to the Cybertruck blast. Although there are very strange similarities between them. Yeah, there are similarities. Great. Anyway, there you have it, folks. Las Vegas police is not ruling out any connections. All right. I guess we'll get more information and report it. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye. Good luck out there. Stay safe.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.